Well, it's not the it's not the most perfect location, but and it's not bad. It's not terrible or anything. But I don't have much time, and I got to make this video. So I don't like saying this phrase because I'm always because I'm scared of being arrested if I say that I'm tired. Somebody go, oh, well then you need a rest. I don't. But my body is, in my brain and stuff. So, so I'm going to just real quick. I'm not making any inference on this. You make your own inference from it. You can say, well, that's pretty neat. That's a coincidence. You can be amazed. You can, or you can just think, yeah, the guy doesn't know what to do with his brain. Or you could say that, wow, the guy is intelligent. I don't know. So I'm gonna show you this stuff, and then from there, because if this doesn't work then it's okay. I mean, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Because I'm certainly harmless, and I just let me rephrase that. I would, if nothing, nothing really super neat or something like that, I would just really like to at least have a job and a little house or apartment or something where inside it's not 30 degrees at night or 25 degrees or 35 degrees or something, and where I have a bed that's soft enough that my body doesn't hurt when I wake up and 2 or 3 or 4 times during the night, and when I get up to start the day, and I did not have a comfortable night's sleep. You can imagine that every day. Right now it looks like, oh, but geez, it looks really nice. It looks great right now until the evening. But I don't have any gas to get anywhere, and I only have about 2 or 3 days of food. Not much. I don't have much food. And I don't know what to do. I mean, I've worked to try and get a job, and I've sent out bunches of emails and resumes and videos, and so I don't. If somebody could just give me a job in a little place, because I'm at the end, and I don't want to spend every day wishing that I wasn't alive. So, so if this stuff, I mean, if nothing else, maybe somebody could say, wow, maybe that talent could be used for this, or I don't know. Or maybe somebody could give me a job, let me do things where I get to make things beautiful. By the way, the Pythagorean Gematria for the word beautiful is 26, and that's the day that I was born. Pythagorean Gematria. But anyways, so I'm going to just show you this. You don't need to... And then, yeah, I love you, and that's it. the English language has 26 letters in it. That's any number is whether it's 5 letters or 3 letters or 2 letters or the first letter or second letter. Those are mathematical values, ideas. Gematria is the relationship of math and language. I'm not supposed to use this example, and it may cost me. It doesn't really matter, but I don't know what it might. To give you an idea of how the White House has a gematria of 133. The word government has a gematria of 133. The word Congress has a gematria of 100, and there's 100 seats in Congress. Anyways, so there's 26 letters in the language, and the numerical value for the word God is 26. This is regular English gematria is 26. So that's 7, 15, and 4. That's a total of 26. Now, if you look at the first 2 letters, and then which would without the D would say go, and then you have 4 there and go forth. Or the truth came forth, which God is truth, you would say, right? So, but anyways, so the numerical value is 26. A lot of people say, God's number is 7. 7, kind of an interesting thing in biblical times, September was actually the 7th month. And so if you look at the first letter and the last letter on there, first and the last, that would almost, you could say July 4th, right? But it doesn't matter. I'm probably wrong about saying that too. But so September was actually the 7th month in biblical days. Now it's the 9th month. So that's just something to remember, that the 7th, what used to be the 7th month, is now the 9th month. Okay. So I was sitting there and going, I was looking at this stuff, and actually I knew a bunch of this, but anyways, so I was going, okay, well, I wonder what the gematria is for temple, because they say God lives in the temple, right? And so I did the gematria for temple, and it came to 71. And I thought, that's something. But it wasn't 26 until I learned something called Pythagorean gematria. And that's where you take the 2 plus 0 is 2, 5 is 5, 1 plus 3 is 4, 1 plus 6 is 7, 1 plus 2 is 3, and 5. And that added to 26. So I was, temple, God, 26, 226. And then, regular gematria is 71. And the only thing I think of is, well, that's kind of the abbreviations for Georgia, or it could be God Almighty. So, 26. B and F are you could say Z, or you could use the individual letters and go to B and F, like a best friend. Sure, I'd be best friend. Believe and faith, 2 biblical, or two kind of religious type of words. Believe and faith. You could say Adam and Eve, right? Like Adam, Adam and even, right? So that's an even thing, and if you add those 2 together, that's an even number. But Adam and Eve, right? But anyways, I thought that was kind of neat, because the gematria for God and the gematria for temple is 26. So I thought, well, I wonder what else there is. So, temple God, and so, it started out, they called him the God of Israel. Now, if you use Noel, you could say, Israel's, the way we say it, right, Israel. This was my initials when I was born. I was actually, Routh was my last name, Sandy Routh. And this was my mom's initials. Of course, then Noel. Now, but the way if you were to, use phonics, the way you say Israel is real, right? Israel. And oh man. And so I and Z is 926. And I remember we were talking about that, the 7th month is now the 9th month. But anyways, so there's 926. So I thought, wow, man, that's kind of neat. Now, in Hebrew, the Hebrew letters for Yahweh, which is God in Hebrew, look like this. It's like Ha, Va, Ha, Yod. And that's Yahweh. They don't use the consonants. But the Jewish Hebrew Gematria for Yahweh is 26. But the Jewish letters look like English letters for our word 9. So, here you have God 26, and it looks like the English word or the American word 9. So it looks like 926. So that goes with the God of Israel, right? And that goes with the Gematria for the actual word itself, God here. Now, in the Bible, there's 26 generations from David to Jesus, and then a generation is parents, grandparents, great grandparents, that sort of thing, and in order for a new generation to happen, somebody has to be born, and that takes 9 months. So, here we have this 926. Then, in the Song of Songs, the phrase "His love endures forever" is 26 times, once in each of 26 verses. Once in each of the 26 verses. The number 26 is said once, is mentioned once in the Bible, and there are plenty of different scriptures in the Bible that said God is one. So is sounds like is, right? So God is one is kind of like, is 9 and 26. So there's God is, there's that again. And then God is one looks like Son. My mom's name starts with E. Anyways, her name is actually Edna. Yeah. And so if there's one God, 1, and then the numerical value for God, right? And so then if you go to Genesis 1:26, and these, I just put these pictures on here because this is me and I thought it's fun. Genesis 1:26 talks about the image of God. It says, and God said, "Let us make man in our own image, after our own likeness." Well, the gematria for image starts out with a 9, and then the next 4 letters. I was born Sandy Ralph the Fourth was my birth name. It's Bosley now, but Sandy Ralph the Fourth. Those you take those 4 numbers and add those up, and that's 26. So you have 9 and 26 again. But if you take the gematria for the Pythagorean gematria, you got 9, and then 1 plus 3 is 4, and 1 is 7, 7 and 5 and 5, and the total of that is 26. So there we go again. We're talking about the image of God, the numerical value of the letters in the word God, the God of Israel, the number of generations from David to Jesus, who is supposed to be God on earth, and then we have the first 2 words of Genesis 1:26, and those, there's a saying that says where there's 2 or more. Well, here's 2, and those first 2 words are "and God," and the gematria value for those is 19 and 26, or 1. 9 to 6. So again, we have that same thing going on. So, Genesis 1:26. Now, God says in the Bible, He is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. 1:26 is like the first letter of the alphabet and the last letter of the alphabet. So the beginning and the end, A-Z. Now, I was actually raised Mormon. I was in the Mormon church. There's the idea of forever families, and so they do something called a sealing, where a family is sealed together forever. It's a beautiful thought, really. But so that we did that in the Arizona temple, which was kind of neat. So here's this relation, beginning and the end, Alpha and Omega, God, and the numerical value for God. This has the numerical value for God. It has also the numerical value for the letters G and A, which is where I was born. So that's kind of neat. And this is where the temple was, or is, in Arizona. It's in Mesa. And my dad's name is Mike. My mom's name is Edna. And I'm, of course, Sandy. Or you could say that's me, Sandy. And so then I was like, well, what else is there? And then so the kingdom of heaven, or the kingdom of God, God's kingdom, is called Zion. And that's supposed to be set up on earth. And so you have Zion, which is the 26th letter, and then the 9th letter, and then the word on. And so I was like, 26, 9. If you said, on 9/26, the kingdom of heaven will come on earth, that would be like it happened on my birthday, which is kind of neat. And the gematria value, if you were to take the gematria for temple, which is 71 in English gematria and 26 in Pythagorean gematria, and you put those 2 together, that's 97, which my birth name, the gematria value for that is 97 too. So that's a lot of fun. So, but anyways, yeah. But if you're to just look at it like this, the 269th day, so on the 269th day of the year is September 26th. Pretty neat. 9/26. So I was born September 26, 1970. Now 1970, that's the way we say it. It's 1970, but usually we say it 1970. So 19 is an S, and there's no 70th letter of the alphabet, but there is a 7th letter, and that's G, right? Now, if you were to, so I was born in Savannah, Georgia, SG. And remember, so there's that, the gematria for temple, and then the Pythagorean Gematria for temple. My birth dad, his name was Sandy Ralph. You can actually find him online. He's a drummer. So kind of like before I was born, there was a guy that was a drummer, kind of like a little drummer boy. Now, some religions talk about something called precepts. They say line upon line, precept upon precept. So what happened pre-September 1970? Well, 9 months it takes for something to happen, for somebody to, come into the world. And so 9 months before September 26th is Christmas. You could say you conceived my birth on Christmas Day, and of course then I was born on September 26th, which has that 926, again, connection with God. So my initials were Sandy, Preston, Ralph, or just Sandy Preston. My mom is Edna Ralph. Of course, a lot of people go to the emergency room when they're getting ready to have a baby. That would be my mom. So that's kind of something. Now, again, my initials when I was born was Sandy Preston Ralph. My birth name is different than that, but and then now it's Sandy Preston Bosley. Of course, my Sandy is just kind of what I have most of my friends call me. I like my folks calling me my actual birth name, but anyways, and my family, my brothers and sisters, my aunts and uncles and stuff like that. My family is actually 7 billion people, but I'm talking about like immediate kind of family. So my mom's initials when I was born, her first initials were EAS, that stands Edna Stone, and then Edna Ralph, and then of course her last name now. So then you have the egg, and of course we say, being that her initials were EAS is her maiden name, kind of makes you make, Easter egg, right? It's where I got my DNA. Her name is Edna, eDNA, which is Hebrew, or the Hebrew version of Edna. Edna comes from the Hebrew word Eden, which is obviously the Garden of Eden. But yeah, so that's all kind of neat stuff. Okay, so her maiden name was Stone, and if you look at pictures of the resurrection of God, then you see this big stone, which is actually in the shape of an egg. And if Christ is being, coming alive again, that's kind of like being born, because he's alive again, and he's coming out of the earth. It was a tomb, which tomb, and then for life you have womb, and so her initials were EAS, and then her married name was Edna Ralph. So that made her maiden and married name Easter. And then her initials again are EAS, and we have Easter. We have Easter in April, Sunday. And April is the 4th month, and I was born Sandy Ralph the 4th. So that's kind of neat too, right? And Easter happens in spring, and my initials when I was born was SPR. So that was kind of neat. So I got all this stuff that goes together with, conceived on Christmas and born, like this, and Easter and spring. And of course that's, birth is when you come to earth. And my mom's initials when her married initials were Edna A. Routh. And of course, the gematria for these two is 926. That's the R being the 18th letter. That's 1 and 8 together, and T being the is a 20th letter in the alphabet, and 20 the gematria for value for the word 20 is 26. So now Earth, if you were to say it, is my Mother Earth. So it's kind of a coincidence that her initials, when I was born, come to Earth. Her initials were EARTH, but if you pronounce it just ERTH, like her first and last initials, the gematria value is 51. So Mother Earth year, right? The year that she came to Earth was 51, and she's my mother. And somehow it all just fit together, Mother Earth, just by what? Coincidence? Or was that supposed to be that way? And so, right here you can see where it says Mother Earth year. My dad's initials are, my dad's name is Mike and my mom's Edna. Of course, if you were to put a B there for their last name, for our last name, you'd get birth. And that is my mother's birth year, 51. Anyways, so on the top of Mormon temples, and what you would call Earth, you call it. Some people call Earth a sphere. Some people call it a ball. Some people call it a globe. But sphere and ball are the same thing, right? Sphere, SP, here, and ball. So you could also say here all, like everybody here. And I was going to have a picture here of an angel Moroni standing on top of a sphere and a ball. And in the Mormon Church, they have the term they call prophet is a seer, prophet, and revelator, which are my initials when I was born. And then their local church leaders are called stake president and bishop, and that's my initials now. So yeah, just picture that angel standing on top of a thing, and then a picture of Earth here and Earth here. But so that's that. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but my phone number is a Metro PCS phone. It is, I'm going to say this to everybody, 430-236-8267. And I think I can get a 3-day extension, but that phone is turned off right now. I think I can get it turned back on for 3 days. But talk to you soon. Love you.